Shanti. Happy New Year. I'll say it again. Happy New Year. Wow. Happy New Year, Zoomers. Welcome. Welcome to. So we have a new month. My name is Michelle, and I am one of the MCs with Louise, who's in the back. We share these wonderful duties, and we're very happy to be here with you. How many of you is your first time? Okay, welcome. Well, we meet every Thursday evening and we give what we call insightful conversations. There are things, and if you're here, no doubt you're on some form of a spiritual journey. And that's something that we talk about and discuss. And I'm a student here for, geez, probably close to 9 years already. I can't believe it. But I've always been a seeker, if you will, to understand what's it all about. And I get a lot of satisfaction and answers from studying with the Brahma Kumaris and being at this point a Brahma Kumari. So this month, every month we have a new topic, and it is new beginnings. And I was thinking about new beginnings. Every day is a new beginning. Every moment can be a new beginning. It's a choice that we make every day. How? Because thing and information and people are coming at us like vectors. I took physics. I wasn't very good at it, but things are coming at us faster and faster. And every time we have to decide how we're going to respond to that stimulus or that vector, and how people respond to us based on that. So we are in New Year, mostly I know I used to. How many of you used to make resolutions? I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to exercise more. I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I'm going to smile more. I'm going to be happier. All these resolutions. Well, I stopped a while ago, long before I came here. But what we're going to talk about tonight, actually, Brother Eric, and if you've seen Brother Eric, it's really quite a treat, about being an inspiration to others, but really inspiring yourself. And that's really something that I try to do at my work. I work in the government. And can I inspire others through me being inspired by what I do? And I have to tell you, it's a choice, but I think it works. People generally tell me they want to be around me. And especially now, because I kind of like what I'm doing, and I think that gives off, and that's something we're going to be speaking about tonight. I do want to introduce, if you're new and if you don't recall, about Brother Eric, who is pretty much omnipresent here, in that he's usually in that little room over there. He's waving to me with Brother Narayan with the AV, but he really is the chief cook and bottle washer around here. He holds everything together here. And I met him. He was one of the first people I met with Sister Angie. If you know Sister Angie, they used to come visit me in my office. My office used to be near here, and they would come every year to meet with me. And after a while, I kind of wanted them to come more often. And before you know it, here I am. So Brother Eric is currently the director of the Brahma Kumari World Spiritual Organization. He is also a representative to the UN. If you don't know, the Brahma Kumaris are an NGO, a non-governmental organization as part of the UN, and a member of the NGO committees on the freedom of religion of belief and religious NGOs. He's also a board of directors of the Long Island Multi-Faith Forum. And if you had a chance, we do those multi-faith forums sometimes here, and it's really quite remarkable. But most important, in how I know him, is an experienced Raja Yoga meditation instructor and a retreat facilitator. But before he retired, he was a civil engineer, and a lot of people, you'll see the instruments here are in science and in medicine, and they're very worldly, but yet their path is also spiritual. So they bring both. It's very full-bodied. But he was a civil engineer with a career in property loss management, which is kind of interesting. And that could be a subject in itself. So he's going to be here in a minute, Brother Eric. I know sometimes they like to sneak up on me from the back because they startle easily. Nope, he's coming right up the front. So I introduce Brother Eric he wanted me to give it all. So giving it all. Okay, thank you.
Hey, evening, Shanti. We're a little lopsided tonight, so that's okay. I'm not sure, not sure what you did, but that's good. Glad you're here. This must be the powerful side. Welcome. Um, as you had heard, my name is Eric, and I believe you all have names too. All right. And how many are here for the 50th time? Okay, some of you are quite regular, and some of you might be here for the first time. Anybody? Great. Welcome. Good. Glad you're here. Um, because every Thursday, we try to inspire ourselves. And so we'll try to be inspiring tonight. But meditation 6:30 to 7, music, maybe a commentary, something, finish with a song, and then picking a topic and a person or a panel to share experiences, ideas, and the goal, I always hope, is that you will walk away with, let me think about that. Well, that sounds like a good idea. I should try that too. Whatever it's going to be, that's kind of the intent. So I hope we will stay true to that intent tonight because it's January. Happy 2026. Have you written a check or a date and put down last year? Or have you gotten into the swing of things yet? Everybody okay? Good. I haven't made a mistake yet, but I'm sure I will. It's kind of new. And so new beginnings, being inspired. Yeah, you're way over there. It's okay. See, this is the science of it. It's kind of a bigger mass, kind of a draws other things into its orbit. How that goes. Um, but wanted to start this year with the sense of kind of evaluating, we have often done programs New Year's Eve, and it was a little different this year. We just did some meditation, but it's often a time for reflection, okay? And having that awareness of, you know, what is going to be in my future? Do you have that question? You ever have the thought, maybe it's just tonight, what you're going to have for dinner? Maybe it's this week, maybe it's the month, maybe it's, but that sense of that there's a always, whether we do it or not, the opportunity to think fresh in January. New year, new time, something's over. I finished that off, and let me at least see if I might be able to identify that. And so that's kind of the question I want to push in your direction. What would you like? How would you like this year to be? Or rather, how would you like to be in this year? And whatever's going to take place, we have a choice and we have the ability to engage ourselves in activities that will take us closer to how we want to be. You can make all sorts of other resolutions, but the idea that I want you to play with now is, what do I like in my life? And if you're here at Harmony House, we practice meditation, we practice a way of thinking, and the more we practice thinking, the more we get closer to that reality. Okay. You are going to get closer to your own thoughts. If you think of anger, if you think of sadness, if you think of whatever, you're going to get good at it. And so, with that awareness, what do you want to get good at? And I'm hoping that it's going to be some sort of a natural, innate spiritual quality. But it's the question I want you to consider today, now, tonight, later, this week, this month, this year, this life. What do you want? Do you want to have more peace? Do you want to have more happiness? Do you want to have contentment? What is the quality, the picture, the feeling that you feel that you would like to move towards? Does that make sense? Is that clear? Okay. It's a forever question. What do I want? How do I want to be? And what am I going to do for that? And so thinking tonight that we'll just practice that. There are wonderful clips, movies, stories, ideas where individuals now somehow meet their future self. Have you ever seen those? Okay. So your future self comes and says, "Oh, this is how it's going to be." And they tell you some advice or whatever it's going to be. And they give you oftentimes advice, this is how you turn out because what you're doing, I've come back. There's a great story. It's like, well, I must be doing something well in my life because no one from the future has come back to try to stop me. So that's one way to look at things. But there's a future self. Okay. You are in the future of what you were in the past. How'd you turn out? Okay. But there's going to be a future you, and see if you can use the time in your thoughts right now to see that. What is the future you would like? And I want you to see if you can kind of travel to that moment. And there you are looking at yourself and see yourself the way you want yourself to be. And start with your face. Is it smiling? Is it wise? Is it content? Does the smile go all the way up into the eyes? Create the image of the future you that you would like. And look at it. This is who I will be, because this is who I choose to be. So see the face. Now see the whole physical being and aura. Be relaxed. Is there an easiness? Is there an experience wisdom which brings contentment, acceptance? Create the picture of who you want, how you want to be and be seen and feel. How does it feel to be me? What is in my future? Create what you want. See it. Be it now. Feel it. And hold on to that image, that experience, that picture, that goal. I don't see this as a resolution, but I see it as a possibility. I see it as a way of guiding my actions forward. Does that make some sense? What am I going to do now that's going to take me to that picture, that feeling, that creation? Because we are creating ourselves. We are creating ourselves the way we want based on our decisions and our thinking. And I find it's very useful to have a goal or a picture or an end that allows me to reassess, realign, um, if you use your GPS and you miss your turn, it's like, we're gonna help you get there, but we're gonna take another road, which is a little like what we can do in our own decisions in our lives. Oops, well, maybe I didn't do so good that time, but that's past. Now I've got to figure out how to get back on the right road to where I want to go. Have you ever been driving and missed a turn and just say, that's it, I stop, I'm not going any farther? I quit. You didn't do that tonight. Somehow you figured out how to get here. But that's the sense that, okay, well, I missed that, or it didn't do this right, or whatever it is. And you just keep going on because you're thinking of where you want to go. And now we're going to think about where I want to go or where I want to be. And every moment is kind of helping me move in that way. Were you able to see yourself? Were you able to experience the qualities that you want in that little exercise opportunity? Your heads are moving now, one way or the other. Yeah, okay. Well, it wasn't so hard. Was it painful to be happy? No, kind of easy, wasn't it? Attractive. Did you do such a good job that you want to go and visit that place again? Okay. Did you know how you got there? Do you think you could get there again? Not so hard. You sit, think, oh, I'm happy. Look in the mirror. Mirror is kind of an interesting thing because it reflects that image. And so we're creating the image that we want to see, and that's going to reflect back into us. And so if you can keep that image of yourself, face, how you're going to hold yourself, the qualities and the feelings, it's going to reflect back to you. See yourself in that way, you will be that way. But there was a little story that wanted to interject in here. That there's a fish, an older fish, swimming along, and two little young fish come by, swimming kind of across the meet. And the older fish says to the younger fish, how's the water? Look at it. They swim along and part. And one of the little fish says to the other one, what's water? And the intent of that kind of is that sometimes we are surrounded by something we don't recognize. We're living in that. And it's just, we're unconscious of what it is. And the reason I interject that is because we are living in a water. Different people's ideas, different thoughts, different feelings. We're being bombarded by all sorts of different things all the time. That's our environment. That's what we're swimming through. Okay. And maybe you have recognized this, that sometimes you're with people and they're stressed and that tension kind of comes into your awareness and feeling. Sometimes, you're a little freer from that, and it kind of don't, but there's a big influence in our environments now. And to be aware of that, I think is important. What are we swimming through? What am I dealing with? How do I recognize that there might be contradictory forces in my life, in my environment, that I need to be aware of? What type of conversations do I have? What type of interactions do I have? What kind of information, experiences do I consume? Because that's a big part of what goes into our minds and how we think, and is kind of the background noise. It takes time and energy and processing. We have some users here on the computer, and they don't always seem to find the delete button. Whatever comes in, it just kind of keeps coming in. And they have some problems because the processor, memory, hard drive, storage, whatever it is, it's full. And if you've ever had something, a garage or a closet that's full, you can't put anything else in there. Same is true with the hard drive, same with the computer. So they have some problems and then they complain it's not working. It's like, well, it's full. You have to delete some things. And then you can, their head is like that too. What are we taking in? What are we absorbing? What are we bringing? What are we holding on to? What's inside of us that's taking up space, taking up bandwidth, taking up time? And can I start to recognize what is beneficial and what is less beneficial? And kind of gravitate my time, my energy, my attention towards those things. It will be helpful or less hurtful in how I'm going to see myself. Does that make any sense? I get a newsletter from an economist, long time. Just bits and pieces, what's going on, a few things. I'm not an economist. Don't ask me for any advice. Um, I give you free advice. I recommend you invest in commodities. Okay. Canned beans, tomatoes, things like that. That would be my whatever happens, you can still eat that stuff. So invest in commodities. Okay. Get what you can and restock. But the advice was that there's a lot of resources that we have. There's a lot of ways that we can invest. One of the things that you can't change is time. And so where do you spend your time? How are you going to use that? And if you spend all your time, kind of their philosophy, creating wealth, that's great. But if you have no time to use it, what's the point? So how do you balance your resources or energies? Where do you invest? Because money is just one of your resources. Time, something else. Your mind and your thoughts are something else. How do you invest in that? How do you manage that? How do you use that? How do you take care of it? How do you grow that so that it's going to, nurture you? I was told that if I work and I save, I'll have some funds and I can live off the interest or whatever it's going to be and retire. Manage it so that it will support you. Same is going to be true with our thinking. What am I creating? How am I going to do that? What are the resources that I'm going to do? Because a big part of that is it will help us understand how we can get to our future self. But we can't always just do that. Being inspired is a topic tonight. And that awareness of being inspired isn't necessarily sufficient. Let's go out and do it. Because we need a couple different energies. We talk here about that we need to have inspiration, and sometimes it breaks down into a phrase of zeal and enthusiasm. We need to have zeal and enthusiasm. And I looked and kind of tried to figure out, okay, those sound similar, but the idea of a can of soda, a bottle of pop, or something that carbonated, okay, shake it up, open it up, what happens? It's just burst forward, right? That's zeal. It's going to jump out and get things done, and it's a burst of energy. And enthusiasm, when you pour the Coke into a glass, you see these little bubbles that kind of continue to come out. That's enthusiasm. Zeal is a burst of energy. Enthusiasm is a continuation. And so we need to have both of those. We can't just be inspired. Oh, I have a great inspiration. what do we need after that? You need to process energy. You need a way to marshal that idea. And one of the things about that awareness that I kind of have thought about is that we need to almost fall in love with our future self. Okay. How many of you read Pygmalion? Know that story? Anybody not know Pygmalion? Oh, it's great. There's a painting and there's a story, but it's goes back, I think, into the Greek times, Roman times, one of those guys, but an artist. And I believe it's a sculpture. He's sculpting beautiful image. He falls in love with his image. He falls in love with his creation. So there's this feeling that there was so much beauty and such, and so much care, I guess, but he falls in love with the statue. And we're creating ourselves in that way. Every thought that we do, every act that we do, we're creating ourselves. And we had a conversation, class interaction. And it was very interesting to me that because love is another way of transforming things. Love brings transformation. And so I want you to hear this in the right way, but I want you to fall in love with your future self. Not in that sense of an arrogance or anything else, but a sense of being attracted to it. Okay. Um, does anybody like music? Do you really care for any specific composer or song? Could you ever say, I really love Beethoven or the Beatles? It's that type of a love. Okay. You're not going to marry Ringo. Okay. It's not that feeling, but it's just that what is there moves me in such a way or touches me in such a way that I have power. Do you ever hear any music and you just really want to move to it or it touches you in such ways? So we try to bring some of the songs and music here that might be inspiring. Hope they're inspiring. Hope they're touching. With that sense that the love brings transformation. And if you've ever been in love or if you know the power of that, whatever type it is, not romantic, that sense that you kind of focus in on that, it gives you a power. It gives you an energy to do something. You know, mothers love their children. They work later, they'll do this because it's transformative. Because there's something about wanting something and caring for something in a pure sense that gives us the energy to do that. It, love is transformative. It's energizing. And so if we can see ourselves as beneficial, if we can see ourselves as being the artist that's creating our future through our thoughts and through our actions, and if we can see ourselves having that attraction, a pure, spiritual, elevated, caring, that when we see it, it just, it's giving back to us, and we can move into that direction very easily. It's not an effort to be happy. It's not an effort to be peaceful. It's not an effort. It is an attraction that I can experience through my own awareness. Does that make some sense? Did you follow any of that? Are you on board? Do you want to be a Pygmalion type person? I don't think he's seen as a real positive. He kind of got lost in some marble. Um, but you are not marble, but you are a creator. You are an artist. You are someone who has the capacity to see something and through your thoughts and actions, move into that experience and become that. I think that's pretty fascinating. But, you know, the willpower, the idea of it, isn't always so easy. And therefore, just hearing this tonight, saying, yes, this is great. And going out into that water of the environment that is going to bombard you and distract you and take you into different thoughts and areas might not be sufficient. And one of the things, excuse me, that I want to offer is that sometimes it's hard to do things alone. And that's why resolutions often don't work. They fail because it's me and I got to do it and such. But we're kind of battling old habits, kind of battling old routines and ways, and it's very easy to slip back into that, isn't it? And that's why, sometimes having a partner, sometimes having a group, sometimes having regularity. That's why Thursday nights for me is wonderful because I show up, part of it. I like to meditate. I like to listen. I kind of float along, if that makes any sense or what people say. I'm not sure how many times you have kind of left the room with, oh, here I am, which is fine. But it's that sense that we're engaged in something that is a good use of our time. It's very beneficial. Inspired. I have these thoughts. I have these feelings, and somehow that gets layered into me. That works for you too. But that sense that if there's a partner or a team or a group or a community or a habit, that's what's necessary also. Somehow, I have a sister, and she is very clear on this process. She likes to go walking with her friend. They'll call up, are you ready? I'm going to meet you there. They walk and they'll do these things, they chat, they walk, exercise. They love it. But if her friend isn't going to go, I don't think I'm going to get out of bed. I don't think she doesn't do it. She admits it. Okay. So somehow making a commitment to ourself is very important. And some people can do that. But sometimes making a commitment with somebody else brings out a different energy. Does that make sense? Have you ever, okay, I'll do this if you do this. Okay, we'll do it. Okay. I might not do that on my own. And then we forget. It's real easy to know things are important, but then they slip by. I had to have something with my eyes, and I'm supposed to put in drops in my eyes. I'm very good with it. I made a chart and things like this. But after a week, I was like, do I do that or not? Things get a little loose and slippery. And so that's why there's a meditation center, actually. That's why Harmony House is here. It's a place to say, once a week, I want to come. I want to be here. I want to re-experience the vision I have for myself, and I want to feel that again, for example. Not to deny you from the other classes and programs or whatever, but what do we do for ourselves? Because that's a huge topic for us, our practice. This is all about what am I practicing? And we have a word for what we create through our practice. I hope it's familiar to some of you, sanskars. What's your habit? What have you practiced? What's your personality? What's your way of being? You all have sanskars. You all have a personality. You all have a way of seeing and doing and acting and thinking. And those are incredibly powerful. And so when we recognize that that's kind of part of our environment, part of the world we live in our own creation. And different people, different cultures, have different ways of seeing things. The example I love is the trains. Okay. I used to commute from Great Neck into Manhattan, took the Long Island Railroad right over here, very convenient. Have you ever ridden the railroad? Everybody? Anybody? Okay. Every day. Okay. It's glorious. The fact that you can go in there and, someone drives you and you pop out, it's a miracle. I'm glad I don't have to walk it, I don't have to bike it. I don't have to drive it. So the train's great. But when you take the Long Island Railroad and you stand there, they've got this yellow mat, watch the gap. Okay. When the train comes in, the doors open, you have an announcement, watch the gap. Okay. Be careful. Watch this, and it's pretty close. And actually, some places it's just, a couple inches, really, really tight. Um, and somehow somebody once in a while can figure out how to fall into the gap. Okay. I don't know how they do it, if they practice or whatever. I look at them, but they fall into the gap. And in America, what does that person usually do? They sue. They sue. You know, it's your fault. I fell into the gap. We make an announcement. We have a sign. We give the warnings. We do everything we can. We've designed it so that the gap isn't there, but you fell into it and you sue us, right? It's America. I took the train in India and it boards. You come in there. Haven't done it for a while, but there are people hanging on the sides. There are people on the top. There is people on all things, and they fall off. Whose fault is that? It's their fault. Same process, totally different perspectives, different environments, different water, different kind of a way of thinking. And so it's very interesting, the contrasts. Here, it's always somebody else's fault. There, your fault. Totally different. But the process and the environment that we're living in does affect us. And we have our own habits, our own way of seeing things. And it's based on truth. And so it is true, even though we're all living in a different truth, if you followed that. What you've learned is true. What I've learned is true, even though they might be contrary. So what have you been thinking? What have you been creating? What is the world that you're living in? What are you expecting? There's just so much that we're not really conscious of, but we're aware of. And those are our sanskars. We have patterns, we have habits, we have ways of thinking about the world that lead us into making actions and decisions that we think are right. But now, January 2026, be inspired. Be inspired by yourself on how you want to be. And the more we can practice thinking of that, the more we can practice experiencing that, the more we can practice coming back into what we want for ourselves and how we want to see and be and feel and interact, then we're modeling that. Then we're not lost, but we're just stepping into that situation as much as we can. And that's what happens. That's what we'll become. That's how we train ourselves. That's how we teach ourselves. That's how we create for ourselves. And so that question that we started with, what do you want? How do you want to be? What are the experiences that you want? If you can see it, you can hold on to that, and you can practice that, then you change, you have that habit, and that will become your nature. There are lots of people who have natures that they've been practicing for years. How many of you know someone who you can kind of raise an eyebrow and they get upset and shout? Okay. Little things just, they're always angry. They're always trying to find fault. They're always this. Some people are, pretty mellow. You can do anything and okay. They've been practicing those behaviors. We've been practicing our behaviors. And for me, Harmony House meditation is a practice of choosing an experience that I want more of. And it's important. My time is important. How I think is important. How I want to be is important. And I hope that you find that your lives and your time and your thoughts and your future are important also. You're the creators of it. You're not only the creator of it, you're the ones who are going to experience it. Good luck. Have some fun with that. So we should be artists, we should be creators, we should be inspirational in our own lives and see opportunities to try things. You know, oftentimes it's the opposite. This is who I am. This is who I was going to be. This is stuck. This is how I see you. This is how I see the world. And it just gets dark and closed and finished and not a happy place. Hoping that happiness was something that you chose. I'm hoping happiness is something that you will practice. I'm hoping that there are a ton of different qualities and experiences that you want, that you will do that. Does that sound desirable? Big question. Will you do it? Will you choose and will you figure out how you are going to support yourself to create the image of the future that you want for yourself? Okay. Any thoughts, any comments, any inspirations? I have a little bit of going back where we were after that. We'll practice, give you a good boost, push experience on the way out. But any thoughts, anything that comes to mind, any questions about being inspired tonight? Are you inspired? Okay, very good.
Anyone? Just so you can have the mics, the Zoomers can hear you.
So we have a dozen or so. I don't know how many are online now. I did not see when I came down. But are you all okay? So will you look up Pygmalion tonight? Will you look in the mirror tonight and see, something glorious and wonderful? Okay. Did anything sound difficult or hard? Okay.
I'm going to be challenged by thinking about what my future will look like
Okay.
because I'm very content. I was noticing the last few months, I'm really in a good place.
Yeah.
So I think when you originally said it, I went, well, I want more of the same. Is that okay too?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay. Yeah,
I'm
thank you for that.
you know,
But no, I don't, but to let go, in other words, I want to hold on to that, but
okay. Well, one of the
there's the
principles
rub.
that
Don't go away.
we use and teach here is action and reaction.
Mhm.
And so if you want something, the best thing to do is give it and share it.
Mhm.
Because if you give karma, action, reaction, it comes back. So it's an unlimited supply if you share. If you stop, it withers.
Mhm.
And so if you want to be happy, be happy. Make others happy. Be joyful. You don't have to be a comedian. You don't have
I
to
want to be that
juggle
too, though.
everything.
I did
There
see
you
in
go.
a year I'm going to be doing
Yeah,
stand-up.
yeah. See how it goes.
Do you know the ending to the Pygmalion story?
I don't remember it.
Well, I do.
She came to life, right?
I also just Googled it to
Yeah.
make sure.
She came to life.
Well, he loves her so much that he comes home and the statue becomes warm and they marry and have children.
There you go. Okay. Check it out.
Anything is
See
possible.
how it goes. Buy a block of marble tomorrow. See if that works. Pinocchio. Okay. He goes in another direction, doesn't he? That's right. The boy becomes ears and all sorts of things. So yeah, we are influential in our own lives. And if we create that and we fall in love with how we want to be and we move in that direction, glorious things might happen.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So why don't we
Sorry.
now?
I said that the hard part is to make it happen, to learn how to get there.
Okay. It's just one thought at a time. Somebody was telling me, how do you get to Los Angeles in the car? 100 feet at a time. This next turn, the next turn, the next turn, the next one. You don't overdrive your headlights. And the same is true for us. One thought at a time, one moment. Just focus in on what's happening. And then you're always adjusting. And if you're adding in those qualities that you want, you're going to get where you want to be. And it's not a huge project. It's very simple. Just one thing at a time. One thought. How do I want to be? What is the experience I want to create? What should I do at this time? And it's actually a wonderful game if you interact with other people on the train, at work, at home, strangers. How do I want to be at this moment? And make a decision. I think I want to be patient with this right here. Let me be patient and focus in and have that concentration. Okay. I want to be content with this person. Let me be content. Let me choose to be a certain way because it's not going to stop your actions, your interactions. But if you're not going to choose, then it's going to be a default, a habit. You're going to be tired. You're going to be distracted. You're going to be whatever it is. So making that conscious decision, how do I want to be at this moment? And then practice it. Nobody else is going to know. Nobody else is going to care. But they might recognize that, hey, the dynamic has changed. Because if you used to be upset and angry and now you're just calm, people are going to react to you differently. And then all of a sudden you haven't changed them, but you've influenced the situation, which has allowed a different dynamic to happen. That makes some sense. If you keep doing things the same way you have, others will keep doing the things that they have. If you change, they will have to change. You're not forcing them to change, but they're all of a sudden in a different situation. And then they will have to figure out what they're going to do. And if it's elevated and if it's positive, you're offering that. That's the environment that you're allowing them to step into. Maybe they'll take that opportunity.
Actually, I was driving tonight to come here
Okay.
in Northern Boulevard. And I felt like I'm asking for 26, but I felt happy,
Okay.
hopeful,
Yeah.
and I felt like this is going to be a good year.
It's going to be a great
That was
year.
my feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are differences. There's going to be stuff happening this year. Okay.
Mhm.
That's how I see it. I forgot there will be stuff happening in our lives, but we still have the choice of how we want to go through those things. Okay. Do we want to get upset? Do we want to get angry? Do we want to be sad? Do we want to be fearful? Okay. Those will be opportunities. But are those the things that are what you want? Okay. And it's something that we have to practice, but how do I hold on to my spiritual power in a situation that doesn't support me? Doesn't nurture that, is contrary. Doesn't happen over one night. Water's a little murky. But if you recognize that and take that power to make that choice, you will get through those times much faster, much better.
I like the idea, what I try, and you brought up about experimenting And I actually use it in, especially in things that seem challenging to me. I make it an experiment, particularly with people.
Okay.
Like I will consciously say, okay, I'm going to smile at this person
No.
and see how the reaction is and have no expectations. And I can't recall ever the experiment failing. It always, when I give out positive, that experiment always turns out, even with someone who's challenging to me. It's an incredible experiment that does work.
Right.
So, that's how I pitch it as an experiment for me. So that's what we're looking at. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Father Eric? He's the answer man.
If you're okay, I'm going to use the last few minutes. Did you add something?
No, I just want to say the old cliche, happiness is an inside job, is so true because so many people spend so much of their time blaming the world for their unhappiness. I don't do that anymore since I came here. You don't either, right? Certainly, Brother Eric doesn't. Thank you so much. This was beautiful.
So if it's okay, we started out with a idea of what we want and want to reinforce that. So we'll kind of do the same thing. We could chisel a little more on it in that sense. So it's always good. Just take a deep breath, change the energy. You've been sitting, thinking, forgot your body. And have that awareness that I am the creator of my life, my future, how I want to be. And I do that with the chisel of my mind. Every thought gets me a little closer to how I want to be. And see yourself. Look in the mirror of the future. And have that awareness that you've been practicing qualities that you want. You're seeing your future self. Seeing it full of love. Feel the love on your face now. That your future self is content because of the decisions that you've made between here and there. Peaceful and relaxed. Let that relaxation go deep inside throughout the whole physical self. Hold on to the feeling. Go deep into that experience of how it feels to see the self in the ways that you want it to be, full of the qualities, peace, contentment, harmony, patience. See how you look. Recognize how you feel. Practice your thinking to hold on to that experience. Keep it fresh. Keep it polished. Keep it close. When we practice watching our thoughts, we can be very inspiring. So take the feeling tonight and be inspired. Have a great 2026. Have a great night. Have a great every moment. Om Shanti. Thanks for coming. See you every Thursday. Do well. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Brother Eric. That was, I'm glad I came.
Good.
That was
Me
great.
too.
It was great. And this is what it is every Thursday. I don't know, I can't speak for anyone else, but when I leave, because I came, as you said, on the Long Island Railroad, and I'm always racing here to get here on time, and I'm sure maybe sometimes Louise, like, she's gonna get here on time, she's gonna be late, and I'm here, and then I leave, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm home again. Even though I'm pretty calm at work too. Okay, but thank you. It was great. So just a few things, a few announcements we have. If you're interested, I know I've taken the class a while ago. We have a meditation course that we give. If anyone's interested, you can sign up and we could send you information. Classes have already started, but every month we start new classes. So if anyone's interested in learning how to meditate Brahma Kumari style, Raja Yoga, please, or just to get information, you can sign up. I know. Yeah, they will catch you up. The classes started on January 5th, but they will catch you up. And then just for next week, we will meet again. I believe next week is a panel, correct? It's a panel discussion. Yeah, so we'll be a panel. So it's a little different and it's nice. So, and please stay for your blessing and Toli. Om Shanti. Happy New Year.